Now, as I said before, let me introduce myself. My name's James. I've been working with Raisely for a little while now. And at the core of it, I look after sort of client education, product education, helping those like yourself learn Raisely in order that you can create some really incredible campaigns. We love what we do and we love seeing what you do. So our hope and moral hope today is that I can impart with you some wisdom around how to sort of create some DIY campaigns. And from that, you guys can just sort of let loose and go and create and see some really cool things brought to life. Now, I am coming from the land of the Awabakal people, and I would love to pay our respects to all elders past, present, and future. And as we dive into this webinar today, what we're going to be looking at is DIY fundraising, which is super cool. It's one of the things I love. It's sort of, we've been throwing terms around like evergreen or set and forget sort of things, but DIY fundraising really solves an incredible solution that we see many charities have. And I'll get to that in just a moment and we can explore that. But what are we going to be doing today? At the core of it, we're going to sort of get a bit of an introduction into what is a DIY fundraising campaign. I'm going to preview to you what our new DIY fundraising campaign template looks like, and then take you behind the scenes to sort of show you some of the new features that were built around it that you can be using for this campaign, and you can actually use it for any other campaign as well. So hopefully that really, really helps you as we get stuck into that. Now, we all also have time for questions. I'm a huge talker, so I'll try to have sort of moments where I pause. You guys can put some questions in there. And this uses a Q&A feature for that, and I'll answer those as we go. Some I might write a little message in, others I'll just talk and we'll see if we get through some stuff. Now, if I do miss anything, one of the cool parts is if you didn't miss anything, we do record this session. So this will be up on our YouTube channel as well. And if there are questions that we couldn't actually answer today, whether that be they just need some more context or just didn't get enough time, I'll make sure that they are answered in some follow-up sessions as well. So apart from that, why don't we start diving in? Why don't I show you the actual campaign first? I think you'll probably sort of enjoy that before we start getting a bit more wordy. So let me just switch over and let me take you through our new DIY fundraising template. Now, the cool part about this template, it does come with a whole bunch of new styles in which you can adapt and you can use. And yep, we have gone furry friends as our theme. And even if you have a look in the top little right-hand corner there, you'll also see that I have our pug in there. So a bit of a dog theme to go with it, but all that can just be reskinned, which is nice and simple. But if you scroll on down, you'll see some of the new template here as well. And there's some cool new features that you'll be seeing along here and some new sort of little design elements as well. The thing we love about our templates is they really are an ability for you to create a campaign very quickly if you run with the constraints of what the template has given you. So some of the little cool little new blocks, we've got some little gallery blocks and some stat blocks. We've also got this little fundraising idea carousel, which we're going to explore in a little bit as well. And there's a whole bunch more things as well. Let me quickly go in. I'll show you maybe the dashboard page, which is a really interesting one. We've got some few things happening here, which I'll take you through in a moment, but there's some sort of new things on the dashboard page. And even if we say go into one of the profiles, you'll see some differences on the profiles as well. That sort of helps you through, and you can sort of see the theme that's been carried around through that as well. Now, this campaign is completely live. It's been live for campaign template. It's been live for a while now. You can go in, you can create your new one. You can even do that now while we're playing around with some stuff as well. But I thought I'd quickly show you what the new template looks like if you haven't seen it yet. So that's it. And let's sort of dive back a little bit to give some broader context. Now, the primary context around a DIY fundraising campaign is that we see many, many charities get phone calls from people saying, hey, we'd love to raise money for you. And in the old system, it was kind of a little bit tricky. Probably the most common one was people would sort of come to you with a bag of coins and say, hey, I'll raise this money for you. Can I now just donate it to you? And there's some complexities that come with that. Maybe there's forms to fill out or sort of approvals that you need to be making, and who actually takes the money and how do we sort of support that as well. it all kind of was a little bit higgledy-piggledy, so I've used that term for a while, but within the charity space. And one of the most incredible things that came along with digital fundraising was the push to see whether new solutions could be adapted for these problems that were coming up. At the core of it, how do we enable someone, an individual, to be able to give to your charity in a way that is completely self-run? Now, some examples of this that was sort of common was people going around their neighborhood and collecting money for a cause. Another really, really common one would be someone's birthday came up and they said, hey, everyone donate to this cause and here's a bunch of cash. Another one I used to see a lot were weddings or funerals on the other side as well. And on both of those ones, it was kind of how do we actually help this event be centered around something that's for purpose and something that continues on, and how do they sort of simply manage sort of donations coming through that, rather than just being a whole bunch of pile of cash that's given over to a charity. So that was some of the sort of use cases that have been floating around for quite some time. But with all digital fundraising coming in and with Raisy leading the way in it, we've made it so much simpler for that keen being to get in there and actually create their own fundraising profile page for their particular fundraising cause and to actually take all the donations online. This is helping you with reporting. This is helping you with accounting accountability. This is helping you kind of lean in and learn who you actually have coming on board in your database of passionate advocate people that are really proactive and can go out there and take their own one as well. So some pretty exciting stuff that we've seen sort of come up there, and we're really hoping that this new DIY fundraising template can really serve your needs. So I'm not sure what solutions you have at the moment for those, but we're going to go through the DIY fundraising campaign today and sort of take you through as to what you can be doing with it that can help some of those things as well. Now, what you will see as we dive in is a few other little features too. So let me just quickly mention two new releases that have come out. One is our 3-tier profiles, which now you can set up organization profiles other than just individual or team profiles. That's all out and about. I'll probably show you some stuff on that as well, but there's some more on that coming. We also have direct debit available, which is an absolute game changer. So if you haven't sort of seen some of those things, we do have a support guide on it, and there'll be some more stuff coming out shortly as well. But why don't we dive on into the campaign again, and I'll show you a little bit about how this thing has been set up and how you can best utilize it as well. So let me just swap my screen. So welcome to the catalog of campaigns that I have. And one of the ones that I've just got here is our DIY fundraising campaign. And this is utilizing our new theme. Now, our new theme, as you can see, is this one here. It comes with a whole bunch of sort of new little stylistic changes as well. And just so you know, one of the cool parts about it is it's going to have a few more themes as well that you'll be able to choose from. They're at the moment in our design team, and they're going to be released in development quite soon. So at the moment, you can sort of see some of the functions that are going on here. The main one it comes to when someone goes into a DIY fundraising campaign is the concept of they want to start a fundraiser. So if I simply select start a fundraiser, what it's going to take me to is one of our new sign-up forms. And as you can see here, I've got now a whole bunch of new options in which I can choose the experience that I want. Now, one of the cool parts about this is at the top there, you can also see in the navigation bar, you can add it in here as well. So say, for example, we want go the extra mile. We can create an individual page that now can express this type of DIY fundraising experience that they could go with. They can scroll down, they can learn a little bit more about it as well. And when they're ready, they can just hit register now. And what it's automatically going to do is it's going to select the sort of the DIY theme or the DIY fundraising activity that they want there. And when they hit register, it'll take them through a normal sign-up flow, just like the normal sign-up form. So really at the core of it, the DIY fundraising theme is around two things. One, it's inviting people to multiple experiences and to learn more about those. Second, it adds a new step into your sign-up form that records which experience that they wanted to do. Now, the cool part about that is that that's data that you can be collecting. That's data that you can be understanding. If you're seeing a whole lot of people actually creating the same type of activity campaign, you can sort of go, well, do we actually sort of broaden that out and make that a new peer-to-peer experience or a new appeal to campaign for a year? But it really gives you an opportunity very quickly to see those who are signing up, what are they actually signing up for? And so this new fundraising form, the new sign-up form within this template is going to record for you which theme they're actually selecting as well. But the cool part is you can create extra pages for it too, and there's a whole bunch of things that are here. Now, once they've actually signed up, one of the great parts about this, and this is kind of why we've been throwing around this concept of evergreen, is what we look at with a evergreen campaign is the ability, just check for me, everyone, that my screen, you can see it. It's not mirroring itself. If it is, let me know in the Q&A section, because I'm seeing something sort of slightly weird on my Zoom. If the screen is mirroring itself, do let me know in the Q&A, or maybe give me the thumbs up in the Q&A as well. That might be good too. Let me just have a quick squeeze on something. It's fine, Jamie, you're a legend. Thanks, mate. So one of the good things about this, let me go into the back end and show you sort of how some of this stuff was actually built out. Now, let me go into here, campaigns. All right. Now, the DIY fundraising campaign has two sort of primary things to it on its sort of system functions. Firstly, you also need pages. Down the bottom here, we have these new pages called challenge. These are a little bit like some of our other templates where we create new pages for sort of different use cases, but these ones are kind of unique. The main thing that they're unique about is if I go into it, it's just like a normal page that you can open up and you can edit and do whatever you want with it. Go nuts. But what's unique about it is if I go to settings, there's now a new feature down the bottom called DIY fundraising. Now, DIY fundraising is actually going to give you the fundraising themes that you're creating. It's a very simple place to be able to put the different activity types or fundraising themes that you're wanting people to select from. When you actually open these up, you'll see there's a few things available for you. First of all, you have a title. We also have a path, and that is activating the page that we looked at before. We have a short description, and we have a landing page, which is the actual page that we're talking about this before as well. Then you've got an image, and you've also got a thumbnail option. Now, the cool part is you can create as many of these as you like. And what the experience will be on the front end is that we'll keep adding options like here. The other place it will actually add the options is this section here as well. This is like just a little carousel function. As you can see, let's go with this first one. It's the run a marathon, swim a mile. We have a little dog that sort of runs down there. As you can see, we have register or read more. And the encouragement here is that they actually can go to a page to understand what that experience is a little bit more as well. So say if I hit read more, it's going to take me to the page that we looked at earlier. So if I go back into dashboard pages, I can now find my page is right here. That it's actually taking me to. And the cool part is you can populate this page with content that you are wanting people to do. It's largely sort of to just preempt that a lot of people maybe won't know what they want to do first. They might have an idea about it, but they might want a little bit more information rather than just signing up straight away. But you'll have others who go, nope, that's kind of the one I want to do. I'm going to hit register. As you can see, it's already going to create this one as its default. That's because in the URL, it does actually carry across the fundraiser theme field. That sort of controls this here. And you can actually manually do that too. And I'll show you that in a moment. But if I continue, it's just going to take me through a normal sign-up process in which I can now choreograph. So it's kind of a nice little new feature as we can go back into settings, DIY fundraising. that you can now add a whole bunch of new sort of fundraising themes and types and activities into here, each containing its individual landing page as well. And it's going to relate back to some of those blocks. So let me take you to see some of the blocks that were actually behind this as well. If I go to pages and go to home, some of the new blocks you can see is this one here. If I click it and you call it fundraiser themes. Now, as I said earlier, this is available actually on any template that you can use. Typically, you do need to use a peer-to-peer template for these because you are creating a peer-to-peer campaign. So any peer-to-peer template or one that has dynamic pages, you can utilize this for as well. But the fundraiser themes comes through. You've got a few display options. I can do grid, or I can do carousel style as well, and you've got gutter width. You can change the words of your primary action button and also your secondary action button. So it doesn't have to say, what is it at the moment? Register or read more. You can change the words for that, but you have here as a primary and a secondary as well. The other options, you have some styling options and advanced options like normal as well. So that's one of the sort of core little carousel themes actually utilized for your DIY fundraising. Let me encourage you though, is that this block can be used for whatever you want. So if you actually have a different alternative way that you are not looking at DIY fundraising to use for, you can totally use this block for that. I actually have used this block, fundraising themes, for things that are completely unrelated to DIY fundraising as well. I just like how it works as a carousel and I can add some content to it. So you can do some things outside of the box. But this is such a simple little block that you can just be utilizing as well. Some of the other new blocks that we have sort of released is finally got a gallery block, which I'm just absolutely in love with. This is really helpful because it allows you to sort of add masonry, carousel, or grid style image rows. One of the most common ones and use cases I've been doing for this is if I create, say, a new row, I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to copy this one over here. And if I go to advanced, here's a little trick for you. If you go to attributes and you type row full width, it's actually going to extend that row across the entire page. And then you can add a whole bunch of new images. At the moment, we've got 3, but you could add more in there as well. Say another pug. And let's add another one. As you can see, it's stacking these images really beautifully, and it's going to sort of, with a masonry grid, sort of structure it slightly different when you got the ones that are in either landscape or portrait as well. So cool little thing. As I said before, I've been using this a whole bunch for different campaigns, and it's a really, really cool little feature. And just to quickly show you as well, in case you missed it, if you go into the row settings, advanced, attributes, and type in row # full - width, it's going to actually extend it the entire way. I can show you what that looks like on the page now. And you can do something cool like that, which I sort of really dig. It's a good little block that you can be utilizing for a bunch of stuff. But for the sake of this one, I want to get rid of it. You got another new little block as well, which is a statistics grid, which can be very, very helpful to use as well for numerous sort of ways that you want to present some of your stats and information around this. The thing I love is those limit. You can just keep on creating some new ones as well. And the styling settings are nice and easy for you to use there too. We've got a blog post. We've got these little cool, this is just the icon block, but it's got a new little style to it, which is kind of rad, which I kind of like. And that's sort of some of the main features that you'll see through this. The other one I want to quickly show you, and I know I'm sort of just rushing around to different things, and I'll pause for a moment for Q&A so I can stop talking and stop rushing through things. But one of the most biggest game changers of this was the ability to allow people in a campaign to have evergreen campaigns running and see them regularly. Typically, what would happen with sort of, I say peer-to-peer, is if you ran a fundraiser yourself, it would kind of get archived away, and I'd never see it again. What we'd sought to do is to enable the individual who's been this wonderful proactive fundraiser to actually have an ability to see all their fundraisers in case they have a few of them going on. And this is kind of represented here on the dashboard. So if I log into my dashboard, little cool trick, if you didn't know that you can put GIFs in profile pictures, you do now. Highly recommend it, adds a bit of life to the page, get stuck into that. Imagine you say, welcome James, but now I can see my fundraising pages. And I can say, go to my organization page from here and see what's going on, or my other pages that I have going on too. Now, this is a really cool little view. And if I want to start a new fundraiser, great, start a new fundraiser. It takes me to the sign up page. I can start a new one. It's just going to add that straight to my account. One of the settings that has enabled sort of this to happen, which you can sort of have a look. Let's go into the sign up page quickly. Sign up. And we go into the new sign up form basic. There's actually now 2 sign up forms, just so you're aware. There's a new one that's come with 3-tier sign up, which is cool. But you have this little option here that says allow multiple registrations under one email. And this is switched to on. What this is a game changer, particularly with those parents out there for school campaigns. This means that you can enter one email address for multiple profiles. And so you can be seeing all your profiles up under the one dashboard account, because that one dashboard account functions around one core email address. This little switcher, absolute game changer. And we really hope that people can now go into the dashboard, have an experience in the dashboard that's going to enable them to sort of grow their fundraising out individually as well. So really, really cool little option. I've taken you through some of the sort of core basics around this, but I would love to see if anyone has any questions. So I'm going to go into the Q&A. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A now. I'm going to dive in here and answer a few of the ones that have come up as well. All right. Can you upload video files? Yeah, of course you can, John. Yep, you can upload video files just using the video block in Razely as well. Typically what they're going to be doing is they're going to look for a link out to say Vimeo or YouTube. So the encouragement is to do it that way. You can put them in manually if you do want to use HTML and upload them through that way. But we do encourage you to use links for speed of site, such as uploading them to YouTube first. Now, Marco says, is it possible when someone clicks register from the detailed run type of the event to go directly to a second step in having to click register again in the first step? Yeah, that's a great question. At the moment, no. Is that a reasonable question? Absolutely. I build a lot of campaigns, and there's some little things that I wouldn't mind sort of seeking out to change a little bit. I can definitely flag it, put it down there, but the concept would be that if let's go back to, here we go. Say if I hit register, it instead just to take me directly into the sign up form without going in, selecting the, having these happen again. Now, the reason these happen is at the moment, the answer is no, it can't do it. Is it a good question and a good feature request? Absolutely, and I'll make sure that one's logged. But one of the things that this is doing, it's actually putting up in your URL, if you can probably see it there, it says fundraiser theme challenge birthday. So what it's actually utilizing, it's utilizing the fundraising theme custom field, which I'll show you where that belongs in a moment, and it's saying it's equal to the path. So that's why it does that, which means you can manually do it. Yes, you don't need to use this widget to enable a selection. So I can show you some other things as well that might help you get around that. What does it look like on the reporting side for each of the fundraising themes? Yeah, fundraising themes acts like another field that you can be utilizing. So let me go back into the settings. And if I go to organize, I'll just go to settings here. If you go to organization custom fields, you'll see this field there. But for the sake of this one, I'll show you within the campaign. If I go to settings and sign up form, and that's where I'm going to see the profile fields. If I go to individual profiles, as you can see now, this is 3-tier, it comes with separate ones. you see a little field that says, what type of fundraiser is this? And this is a core field, and it's using the fundraiser theme field. So within your reporting, all you need to do is just make sure you add in fundraiser theme when you're exporting a profile report. And it's just going to bring all those values in there as well for you. So you can see very, very clearly which fundraiser they actually chose to. So that's the reporting. Can you update an existing campaign with this new template? Yes, you absolutely can. The one thing you can't do is you can't skin it to look the same. You would need, if you wanted all the styling side, Ellen, around what this new set is, one of the things you'd need to actually do is create a new campaign and put all your stuff into that one. What you can do is you can use on any other campaign the features that belong to this campaign, such as the gallery, such as the fundraiser themes section as well. But do make sure, go into settings, campaign settings, and make sure that down the bottom that you have fundraiser themes enabled as well, because this may not be enabled on your one. So if you go into your old campaigns, go to your settings, campaign settings, and then fundraising themes, and make sure you turn that on. Otherwise, what it won't do, it won't actually switch on DIY fundraising. The other thing to note as well is that if DIY fundraising is on, but you don't want it to be on anymore, you can simply just remove all the options. If you remove all the options, it will no longer actually come up with that registration step anymore. That'll just get eliminated. It'll just function like a normal form as well. Now, Caroline says, how do you suggest that charities put this option on their website? Where? Yeah, great question, Caroline. Typically what we are seeing is that many charities will use like a subdomain called maybe like fundraising.charity.com. And this is actually where it will direct them straight to. So typically what we've seen is on people's websites is that they're showing all the options on their website. So there'll be a drop down, fundraise for us, and drop down, and away you go. Won't be a sec. I thought I'd turn my phone off. I did not. That's all right. So one of the things that you can be doing on your own website is I will actually do a direct link out to this campaign and set this campaign branded up on your in line with what your charity's brand guidelines are, and have people sort of land on here. It's just straight away, it's going to collect that information when they sort of register and log in. So I would have a subdomain that would be maybe fundraise.charity.org, and just do a single link from your website to this campaign, and allow people to sort of function it through that. The main one is help them with options, and I'll talk about the fundraising options in just a moment as well. Are we able to customize the questions for each of the fundraising themes? Yeah, you absolutely can, which is kind of cool. So the question there is, if I have a sign-up form, can I then change the questions based on which sort of theme they selected? If I simply just go into sign-up form and say individual profiles, let's say add a new one. What field can we do? I don't know, state, that'll do. If I add a condition here, I knew what type of fundraiser is this, which is actually relying on the fundraiser theme field as well. And then I could go is equal to whichever one I want. And I'd have to put the path in there. So just remember, it's going to create the fundraiser sort of theme one here. It uses the path, the fundraiser path. Where you can find that is if I go to DIY fundraising, open this one up, it's using this. So that's the value that you will need to sort of utilize. That's what's going to come up in your reporting, but that's what the value is. So if I just wanted to apply it to this one, I'd copy challenge active. I'd go back in the sign up form, individual profile. I'm going to add a new field. Let's just hit state. That'll do. Add this condition. So fundraising is equal to, and then put challenge active. So that means that field's only now going to come up when this person is actually registering, which is kind of helpful and cool. So hopefully that helps on that one. Becky, is there a way, or will there be, of any connection to tickets, having specific tickets for their chosen fundraising theme option? Becky, you always come up with great questions. I haven't tried that one out yet. The tricky one with tickets is there's no function for them to actually create their own ticket. You actually have to create the tickets for them. You could totally put a ticket form on their profile page that they can use. You could totally have that ticket form appear if they picked a certain type of fundraising theme. You could totally do that, but there's sort of a direct connection for them to sort of utilize their own ones. Probably a little bit, no, not mine, they can't do that, but you can create a ticket form for them. So say, for example, let's go to pages, fundraising profile, and you wanted to make it so that if they picked the challenge activity one, that on their fundraising profile, they could have a ticket form. So if I get rid of that, ticket form, no tickets currently there. But what I could do is using attributes, custom class, I can put a custom class in here, which would be current.profile .fundraiser theme. I think that will do it. And so what this will do, Becky, hope you're following along, this is kind of fun, is it's going to pull in a merge field that says whatever the fundraising theme is for this person's profile, give that class to that row, which means that the value here, say, for example, would be challenge-active for this one, or whatever it is. Once that's in there, you can simply just go into your CSS. I know I say simply go into your CSS. CSS is like way too much for a lot of people, totally get it, but it helps you do a ton of things. So what you typically then do is I might go .row, and I'd go, say, I'm making this up as I go, Becky, I'll spend more time in this challenge active, which would be the value, and I'll be display and use display to sort of function that around as well. So that is one way, purely because it is acting like a normal custom field in that. So hopefully that sort of helps as well. Yes, you can do some sort of fun things with tickets, really with anything around this, because it's just another custom field fundraiser theme. Okay. Lauren, when will this feature be live? Lauren, it is live. Go nuts. Dive on in. You can create these campaigns in your account just when you go and create a new one. I can quickly show you. Let me go back. Okay. Out of here, new campaign. Just go to community and you'll see it here, DIY fundraising. So hopefully that helps you there, Lauren, as well. David. Oh, Becky's got another one. I'll answer this quickly. Can we condition tickets by fundraising theme? Yes. I think. I'll come back to you, Becky. That was a confident yes. I think so. But let me follow it up for you. David says, if using a subdomain on our site, can we change the color scheme to make the fundraiser appear more integrated with the main site? If using a subdomain of our site, can we change the color scheme to make the fundraiser? Yeah, you absolutely can, Dave. You can do whatever you want with Raising in regards to actually how the color scheme works and how it's branded on your site as well. I'm going to let you in a little secret. One of the things I'm going to upload to this video when it goes on YouTube for your design friends out there is actually the Figma template behind this community hub. And what I hope that will do, it's actually, if you know a little bit about Figma, you can go in and actually, you can put your style guide into that, or your colors and stuff, and you'll see a direct representation of that within the Figma template for the community hub. Really, really cool little template that our design team whipped up, and I'll make sure I share a link to that in the YouTube. So make sure you go and check that out later on. Becky, for a matter of 3-tier, also, can we use conditional tickets by what tier, i.e. organization, team, and individual? For that matter of 3-tier, can we also some tickets? Yeah, Becky, yes, of course you can. How you do it is the other question. So maybe reach out to support. They can get in touch with me. I'll show them how to do it. But yes, you can do that. You can do anything with organization, team, or individual now with 3-tier, because you can actually isolate the fields that are utilizing that. For example, profile.organization profile.name will actually target organization names. So you can do a whole bunch of different things. If we already have another campaign for physical fitness fundraising and in memory, do you know how we can integrate those into this master campaign, or don't you recommend it? It's kind of funny. I actually don't recommend it. It's super nice to have everything in one space purely for tracking all your reporting needs. One of the things that you will, like, you can have them in totally different spaces. You don't need to have this. But if you are offering some very simple sort of fundraising experiences, such as in-memory ones are really simple, it is nice to have them all in the one master campaign. The reason that you will stop sort of looking at that might be whether or not the site gets too complicated. When I'm building sites, one of the big questions I'm looking at is how complicated can this site evolve into? What's the limit of complication that's going to make me go, do you know what, a simpler version is just creating different campaigns for different things. If it's just for a simple need that you just want people to go in, DIY, here's some simple options, I totally recommend you using this as the primary source for it. If you're wanting to do more than that, one of the things that you can always toy up is going to do, we just create separate campaigns for that. The nice part is you can use the template for 1,000 different campaigns if you like, and just skin them all differently, and then create one template, duplicate it out. Relatively simple as well. Marcos Rice, on the dashboard where the user sees all their profiles, can they duplicate one of their own previous campaigns? Marcos, that's a great question again. No, they can't. You can do it for them. So they can always email and you can just sort of clone a profile for them around that, but they can't do it themselves. But another cool little feature, Chris, maybe that might come out as well. Becky and Ellen, love the tickets question, as we have a lot of individuals fundraising who want to sell or provide tickets to their events. Yeah, Ellen, thank you for that. Let me sort of dive a little bit more into sort of the ticket space and how that sort of revolves around this DIY fundraising concept and enabling people to sort of utilize that. One of the things, you can put a ticket form. If you control the tickets and what ticket types there are, you can put that form on a profile page where people can sell the different tickets and you utilize it that way, because it is the public page. It doesn't maybe have the flexibility that you may want to give them for the whole DIY experience, because you need to do some of that for them. And some of it's kind of locked down, but it's a really great question to sort of dive in there as well. So thank you, Ellen, for that. Now, we've raced through a whole bunch. I just want to mention one more thing before we sort of wrap up and close it up, but hopefully it's been a good experience of diving in and seeing one of these campaigns for you as well. The main one is this balance between many people who have come, who start looking at DIY fundraising, kind of also want something else as well. And one of the questions is, how do you manage that? Now, typically what the thing that they want also is they want a link out to their different events. So they don't only want people to be able to create a DIY experience where they can create their own events. They want kind of more of a community hub that highlights the different events that you're organizing. And then they also have the other option of creating their DIY events. A classic example of this might be a sort of site where you go onto the landing page, it will have a featured event. Underneath that, it might have a number of other events that you have going on. And then under that, the third call to action would be, or would you like to create your own? Now, classically, we call that a community hub, which is not what the DIY fundraising template is seeking to do. The DIY fundraising template is seeking just to create the third option, which is DIY fundraising. But does that mean you can't do other stuff on it? No, you absolutely can, which is kind of cool. Let me show a quick example of one I built recently for a really, really cool organization. and it will just highlight kind of what we're looking at on this as well. So one of the things you can sort of see for Lonely Orphans is at the core of it, we wanted a sort of a header, which is going to go register for the main event. Then it would go all about our community, see our upcoming events. And then the third call to option is create your own fundraiser. And they can have some options in here as well. Now, this was completely utilizing the fundraising theme, the DIY fundraising template that we have. It's just completely reskinned in order to match their brand. But the kind of concept here is sort of like main event, bit about a community, secondary events, or then create your own event. So this is one of the things that's coming up a lot when we are talking with people in regards to sort of what they're wanting for their organization, and you can totally do it. So one of my big encouragements on how you do this is I would still use the DIY fundraising template, which I basically use from almost all the ones that build these days. I would utilize that. I would then create new rows on the top for feature events, and then another row for maybe secondary events, and then keep the DIY option the third option, kind of like you've seen on that one. But I built all of it on that campaign. But here's the trick. With the featured events or the other events, for those, I would actually use our ticketing template for those particular events. And I'll skin them out as single page sites, or maybe you add one more page to them. But typically I would create like a template, an events template based around the ticket campaign that we have, the ticket template that we have there. Skin it to make it sure it looks like your brand and all that. And I would just be utilizing those for your major events so that your community hub can be fundraising.charity.com. It goes to your DIY fundraising campaign that you've set up, but the links to the major events that you're putting on, not the DIY ones, to the major events that you're putting on, just link over to another campaign that you've set up. And typically, in my case, I always set up the ticket, utilize the ticket template. It's a simple one-pager and allows me to do a whole bunch of stuff with that as well, which is kind of nice and kind of simple. So that's kind of one of the things we've been seeing a little bit too, in regards to how people can utilize that. So yes, as I sort of said, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can be getting in there and using a whole bunch of things to sort of craft out what you need as well. Buzz our support if you're trying to brainstorm some ideas. I'm sure they're willing to help, sort of help you just create the best solution around that as well. One of my other suggestions, particularly with DIY fundraising, is this: pitch to people. What's the word for it? Themes, or like a broader overarching thing rather than specific activities. So when you're doing DIY fundraising, a lot of people say, well, it's just like a long list of different ones that you can choose from. And the choice can just debilitate people. I'm not sure which one I should choose. The best front door is to offer them basically wider categories is the word I was looking for, wider categories in which smaller activities or specific activities would fit in. So let me give you an example. If I was to create a DIY fundraising campaign, typically one of the main fundraising themes I'd use is eat. Because under eat, you can have a whole bunch of different things around that. Or it might be get active. And then under that get active, I could have run or cycle or do whatever I want. But they're typically choosing a theme to function around, and then the activity within that theme. Now, how would I actually set that up? Now, really what all you're doing is you're saying, pick your theme. So yes, I want to gather, which means I want to create a little event, or I want to celebrate, which might be another one, or I want to create a memory, which might be something that you use for the wedding one or the funeral one. And then I'd create another just custom field, which is a select drop down that when they're creating their profile, that they would just select in that one. It might be what activity are you looking to do? And then you can go, I want to run, or I have a wedding, or I have such and such. So basically you're starting from sort of simple and then sort of narrowing down to the more complex specific activity that you're actually looking at. That's typically how I've done it for a lot of them as well. And so you'd create a page which might be all about gathering. You'd create a page that's all about creating a memory. And each of those pages would actually explain the different options that they could actually go through around that. So sort of something to have a think about when you're sort of strategizing and thinking through one of the themes as well. Yeah, Loophole says, sometimes too much choice means no choice. Absolutely. How do you stop DIY just being another decision versus the value of flexibility individual? Do you promote the different DIY uniquely targeting to different interest groups? Yeah, hopefully, Luke, I've kind of answered it there. Invite people into a broader theme. From that, find out what they're really into. Sometimes what that at least does, it helps people who don't know exactly what they want to do create something, because you can always put just another option in that as well. So I think one of the things is, yeah, start from complex and then work down to simple as well. Give it a crack, but put some stuff through us and just let us know how you go with it. Now, I've said this will be a 45-minute. I'm like 5 minutes over. I'm always over with these webinars, but I am going to call it there and stop. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope this has been a nice little window into looking at the new DIY fundraising template. My hope is that you dive in and start building and create something out of it. When you get stuck, buzz our support team. They're here to help you grow your incredible campaigns. So utilize them. Like, they're there to help. The other thing is, I will flag out is that about 6 months ago, Raisy did something a little bit crazy, is that we actually started offering clients to build campaigns for them. It's called campaign onboarding. What we don't do is, we're not an agency. We don't create a campaign for you and that's it. Basically, campaign onboarding is a solution maybe for you where the learning gap from starting with Raisely to launching your first campaign might just be a gap that you will take too long to be able to jump, or the learning curve is maybe a little bit too steep. So what we did, we actually designed a really cool service offering called campaign onboarding, which enables you to get fast-tracked through the learning. We build your first campaign for you. We build in line with your brand, add a little bit of flourish to make it sort of pop and cool. But if you've got a campaign in mind, we'll build that for you. We also build you a couple of templates as well. And from that, the core of it is we onboard you into Raisely so that your next campaign, you can build it all yourself and you've got everything ready and ready to go and do that. So if you're really struggling with the learning curve and you want to be looking at some options, I do encourage you to reach out to us. You can contact us at onboarding@raisely.com or grab our growth team, who would love to be able to help you on there, or email support, however you like, and you can make some inquiries around that too. So hopefully that's been helpful, but my encouragement is dive in, create some stuff, tell us what you're doing, and I hope that together we can really bring your fundraising ideas to life. That's the goal for us, and hopefully the goal for you guys. Now, what's next? Make sure you go to our YouTube channel. This will be uploaded on there. There's some new stuff coming out in regards to this theme as well, and some instructionals and some guides. I have been meaning to launch YouTube Live for ages. I'm still really keen to do it. So if that's something you'd be keen to sort of see, do let me know. Just go to the YouTube channel and leave a comment saying, do YouTube Live. Something I've been hoping to do sort of every week, just sort of getting my head out and showing some people some cool stuff in Raisely. So check that out. But also do check out 3-tier fundraising. That's available. But also do check out the direct debit, which is an absolute game changer if you're looking to engage your regular donors as well. It's been great having you with us. I look forward to the next webinar. I've got no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be something, probably in about a month. And until then, go enjoy creating in Raisely, and we'll see you guys soon. See ya.